Hey everyone, it's Cory McCarthy and welcome to a new episode. I got another informative and motivational interview to share with you guys. This time around I'm interviewing female vegan bodybuilder and YouTuber Audrey Ganouna, who made an incredible 12-week transformation while implementing a key piece of my advice. And that's precisely what I try to bring to you with this channel. The best fucking vegan nutrition and fitness advice on YouTube, backed fully by the latest science. And I know that's what you come here expecting, so I keep bringing it. And vegans like Audrey put it to good use, and you can too. On that note, if you missed my last interview with my Vegan Muscle Academy client Jay, I also recommend you check that one out. That link is in the description below. Anyway, let's kick this off. Again, it's going to be longish, but it is an information powerhouse. We'll be covering all of the pertinent topics from training to nutrition, and even some controversy like Freelee's diet advice and high-carb failures. So grab a snack, a drink, and get comfy, and let's begin. I have Audrey with me here. I don't want to butcher your last name, so could you pronounce that for me?
Ganouna.
Ganouna. Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I didn't want to butcher it. So I want to start off by promote your YouTube channel, where people can find you, and so take it away.
All right, so I created a channel. It's under my name, Audrey Ganouna, but it also says Veganly Fit. Don't ask me what that really means. It's just Veganly Fit. That just came out of my... I'm French originally, so I just make up words. That's something I do.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Yeah, I think to me it's kind of self-explanatory. Like when I saw it, I thought it was just, you know, a clever channel name. So it totally gets its point across. And I think all of us, French, not French, wherever you're from, I think we're all guilty of making up words at some point in time or another. I know I certainly have. So
Good.
that's totally okay. How and why did you get started with veganism?
Okay, so let's try to make it short. The first time I became vegan was not really becoming vegan because I didn't know what it meant. I was having issues with my immune system, very low energy, very bad, you know. So I went on a detox where I took off some stuff, just more, I wouldn't say juicing, but it was like just eating more raw foods. And the detox was not really about taking out animal product, but naturally I felt like I didn't want to eat meat. I remember one time going for salmon and putting it in my mouth and feeling like I was a bear chewing on a piece of fish, not even cooked. And I was like, what the hell is this? I could not smell it anymore. So that's how I started my awareness as far as like, maybe this is supposed to stay alive and I'm not supposed to kill it. So it just came kind of like slowly. But then I went into wanting to build muscle and I followed the mainstream and I was like, okay, so I'm just going to eat meat again. Which was, at the time, I had no knowledge. I didn't really know the word vegan. I didn't know what it meant. And one day I went to Tony Robbins' seminar. I don't know if you know Tony Robbins.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I went to his seminar and he mentioned something about, you know, some of the foods that we have or that we're eating have faces and you won't eat anything that has a face. And I'm like, it kind of, again, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm eating things that have feelings, you know, maybe their own lives. You know, I'm from Paris. I'm from a city. I think I still, up to this day, never seen a live pig. Or I've seen cows from very far. So it's almost like I was always presented with food properly cooked and well packaged. So I, you know, never really thought about what it meant. So when I finished the seminar, I was like, you know what, maybe I should get educated on the subject. So I went and watched, I think it was Forks Over Knives first. So that's not, you know, nothing graphic, but I watched the video and the next day I was vegan. And when people ask me and they want to enter a debate about about if it's healthy or not. I'm like, I'm doing this for ethics. This is as simple as that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That makes total sense. It sounds like you basically just realized it didn't feel natural to you, for you at least, to consume animal products. It felt like a conflict. So that's actually really interesting and very, that's an interesting perspective there. I'm sure a lot of people hold that perspective, but it's interesting you point that out, how you were eating fish. What really caught me is that you were eating fish, and then you likened it to like a bear chewing on fish. So I never heard that. That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess I take it that you started lifting before you you became a vegan.
Yes, I lifted on and off because I started lifting after I broke my hip. I fell off a horse, and I couldn't really walk for a full year, so I had to go through re-education and physical therapy. And that's how I ended up in a gym.
Oh, okay.
And having to rebuild, especially my muscles in my legs, especially the one that I broke on the right side. And it was nothing serious about, lifting and wanting to build muscle or anything. I just wanted to walk and hang out with my friends.
It's totally understandable.
So at first I had no goal in that field. And what happened is that I started liking the feeling of lifting. And I did start bodybuilding as a meat eater, but I really felt that it didn't work out for me because of all the animal products that I was eating every single meal. If it was not eggs, it was cottage cheese. If it was not cottage cheese, it was some kind of other dairy or some kind of chicken, some kind of turkey, I was like, I'm freaking eating a farm every day.
Yeah.
It's disturbing.
At this point, having been vegan for 3 years and haven't had meat since 2002, even to me, like, that makes me like, just the thought of going back and eating what I might have eaten at one point in time in my life, I'm like, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and it's just it's like I have something about, I try to be mindful and respectful in my way of approaching everyone and everything, and it's almost like all of a sudden I realized that I was not doing this towards animals, which I love. So I was like, why am I? It's just when they say you have to walk your talk, I just felt like I was not doing that anymore. It just came to me.
Yeah. So, being that you are obviously bodybuilding, as you had mentioned, what does your current training schedule look like? Weights, cardio, cross training with certain sports, and what are your overall goals now that you're doing this more regularly?
Okay, so really, I lift, I would say, between 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, so I kind of I try sometimes to do just, body parts. Sometimes I do push and pull, but it depends because recently, just a couple past month, I've been training some of my girlfriends because they kind of get excited by how enthusiastic I get from lifting myself. So what happens, sometimes I end up doing more than I had planned, but I kind of pace myself. I'm like, you lift that much. You already did this morning. Your turn.
So basically you're telling me that women can be just as competitive in the weight room as men.
Oh, you have no idea. Sometimes, because we're a bunch of girlfriends, and sometimes we can't get together, all of us. So this morning, I did some exercise with one, and I just pretended that I said to her that, your girl this morning did 65 pounds on this, and she looked at me like, hell no. And I was like, we started laughing because she never kind of knows if I'm lying and tricking her into being competitive, but we kind of feed each other's fuel.
I think that rivalry, like you mentioned, feeding each other, that rivalry, it does help. I think it can help push people. Like, I notice that people who do lift in groups, some people just prefer that. I mean, I lift solo, but some people prefer to lift in groups. And when they do, it helps them get those extra reps or to get that extra, inch or two or whatever, they wouldn't normally push it because they might be afraid if they didn't have their buddies around, or they wouldn't have that drive to be competitive as well. That can definitely be beneficial for some people. Now, do you do any cardio?
Okay, so I do cardio because first no, I'm not gonna say enjoy. I enjoy cardio, and then everybody's like, "What?" I enjoy the feeling I get from cardio. Okay. Okay. So let's put it that way, because some people are like, oh, it's like not everybody's like Audrey and loves everything that she does in terms of workout. It's not that I enjoy everything, but I can appreciate what it brings to my table as far as results. Okay. So I do like the high I get from doing maybe a longer session. I do like the high I get an intensity wipeout from doing a HIIT session. So usually HIITs, I do maybe 3 times a week now, but when I started, just one session would just put me the ground. Because I was really not good at, I was not endurant enough. I just didn't have it in me.
Which goes to show that it builds up over time. Some people might think, well, I can't seem to hit that or this or that. But it just goes to show that the more you do something, the more you push your boundaries within reason without hurting yourself, the more that you're able to build up that endurance, to build up that stamina. And that brings me to my next point, or next question rather, is I believe you're involved in kickboxing, correct?
Well, yes, just recently. But I did martial arts. I did taekwondo before I broke the hip, and some judo, some boxing. I've always been kind of a tomboy girl, kinda.
That makes sense. So how do you incorporate the kickboxing into your lifting schedule? Like, do you find? I know that, for instance, for me with karate, I find that if I'm doing heavy bag training or sparring with people and I'm hitting a hard object, I find that if I've trained legs the day before that, it's a problem. Like, I get cramps and I get issues, like the hypertrophy pains are still, the DOMS affects how I can kick. How do you navigate that, if you experience that at all, with your weight training and your kickboxing and cardio even too? Well,
from my recent experience through the past couple of weeks where I had to incorporate everything at once, which was really intense all of a sudden, I will tell you one thing. Nutrition is the key. And it's funny because I'm hanging out with a lot of people that are not vegan, but a lot of people are interested. So I'm very happy because I'm hanging out with people that are actually looking at me, and I'm going to say my age. I'm 37, okay? And they're all around 20, 25, 27, and they don't have the energy I have.
That is incredible, and that's a testament to what fitness can do, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been trying to impress this upon people as well, is that lifting weights, being physically active, being physically fit can take years off your life. There are people in their 40s and 50s that are actually physically fit and athletic, doing things that people in their 20s can't do because they just vegetate and don't do anything at all. So that's a really great thing you brought up there, and I hope that sinks into people that are listening to this. And it brings me to I guess this brings me to the question that being this vegan topic that I really wanted to bring up here, is that I recently discovered that you had taken my advice to utilize more soy into your diet, more frequently so, to get more protein in each day. And that this has transformed your body. And but there are a lot of myths out there that are surrounding soy, which I constantly try to debunk on this channel. Have you personally felt anything since adding soy into your diet, like the pluses? Are there any drawbacks? What have you noticed?
Since I added soy, I started getting results.
So you can't say there's been any drawbacks for you?
It's as simple as that. I was just not getting, I don't want to say I was not getting enough protein, but really I was not getting enough protein.
It makes sense. And soy, as I keep telling people, is such a flexible source of, especially tofu, because it's low in carbs It's got some moderate fat, but it's very high in protein. It's like double the protein of the fat content. So it's like, 9 grams per 3 ounces with like 4 or 5 grams of fat and like sometimes less than a gram of carbs or no grams of carbs, mostly just fiber. It's the most flexible protein-rich food, I think, that's available to vegans, tofu especially. And you are like a prime example of like how, incorporating more soy into your diet can give you that flexibility and give you that edge, that advantage. And the fact that you're not noticing any drawbacks. And how long have you been incorporating this much soy into your diet?
Well, pretty much, I think you're going to probably feature those pictures where I transform in 12 weeks. It's pretty much at the same time when I decided, you know what, I watched your video and I was like, I'm tired of avoiding soy. It had been like years, even before becoming a vegan. So I have to point this out. It's like even as a meat eater, I was avoiding soy because of everything that was, said around this. And I was like, okay, I'm not eating soy. And I was like, you know what, it doesn't sound right from all the studies. It doesn't speak to me. So I'm just going to try. And because, well, people that are going to go on my YouTube channel, as much as you are scientifical based, and which I love, that's why I go to you. My channel is all about personal experience and what I try, because I'm the kind of person, when they do studies on rats, they could do studies on Audrey, because Audrey is always ready to try something. I'm like, oh, there's a new trend here. Oh, let's try, see what you do. And sometimes that's very dangerous, because I think I mentioned to you, I did the high carb thing. And I need to post a video where I totally lost animal from my teeth. And you see, I have very white teeth. I always had strong teeth. I always had very big hair. I was losing my hair. I was getting ridges on my nails from doing very high carb, low protein, low sodium. I could not keep a muscle contraction with the low sodium. I could not lift weights. And I thought, I was like, oh yeah, now I'm only doing yoga and I'm all hippie happy. I was like, what the heck? I can't even lift a freaking weight.
Exactly. I was actually about to get right into that, because I know we had mentioned this, we had talked about this before when we were setting this this interview up, and I believe it was Freelee's advice you were following, correct?
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah. So you lost hair, you lost tooth enamel, how did you feel otherwise? Like, what other negative effects? What all culminated? What all happened to make you say, I can't do this high carb, low fat, low protein anymore?
Well, the thing that happened is that I was coming from the meat-based diet, bodybuilding plan. So I was already low in, kind of lowish in carbs, and especially in fruit. So all of a sudden, my body getting that much fruit, the first few months, I was really happy and really feeling good about it. But that was, I know for sure it was because I came from, depriving myself from very nutrient-dense food, because I was eating everything just meat-based and probably crappy products. So for me anyway, now meat is just crappy overall, but you know what I mean? It was probably not the best quality anyways. So at first, first few months, I felt good. The thing about eating all those root vegetables and a lot of potato, oh my God, this totally messed up my gut. Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know how people can do that. So I was like, okay, so maybe I can just do fruits and kind of raw. And within in 8 months, pretty much in 8 months, I just started seeing, like, I was like watching my own videos and I'm like, what's wrong with my hair? It doesn't fluff anymore. I was like, and it was not the shampoo or anything. And I just started feeling, that it was almost like I was feeling that I was eating myself up from within,
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. And you're not the first person I've heard talk about these sort of side effects, these general side effects of being on the high carb, low fat, low protein lifestyle. And I've heard the opposite too. I've heard of people who gain inordinate amounts of weight from fruit. And I've talked before about the fact that fruit still has calories. I mean, you can still gain weight from fruit. I mean, it's got a lot of fiber too that can fill some people up, but depending on how someone's appetite is, like my appetite's a monster, you know, I can gain weight on things and most people wouldn't even understand how I could do that. You know, it's like, but there are people who have basically, to put it bluntly, fucked themselves up doing the high carb, low fat, low protein lifestyle. So I'm glad to hear you've turned things around, and it's shifted your physique.
Yes.
You know, in general, it's great. So what does a typical day of eating look like for you now? One that you found to be most successful.
Okay, so I'm pretty much, I think you are kind of fasted also sometimes, some mornings.
Yes, I do. I do 16 hours of fasting each day, intermittent fasting style. Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of try to still implement some of it, but it really now it depends on my schedule because sometimes I work out twice a day and then I cannot fit enough hours. I will tell you that, you know, pretty much when your muscles are hungry, it will wake you up in the freaking night and just tell you, feed me. So it has happened to me.
I know what that's like. Even when I'm fasted, there's times I'm hungry. Now, at night I won't do it, even though I don't really have much of a problem with it. But during the day, like the morning hours, I'll throw back a coffee because coffee is an appetite suppressant. But I wouldn't advise anyone do that at night, especially if you have a problem, a sensitivity to caffeine. It can really fuck up your sleep schedule. So be careful with that.
Yeah, so usually sorry.
Oh, I was go ahead and continue. I was going to ask you what your typical day of eating looks like for you.
So usually in the morning, I'm not hungry. I'm not the kind of, and I cannot train with a full stomach ever. So that's kind of like what I'm going to find out. My eating schedule is going to probably change a bit when I start kickboxing 5 days a week or 6 days a week. So that might change because it's going to be a couple of hours. But right now it's more that kind of fasted morning where I do usually cardio. That I find that I'm doing best fasted for cardio. Okay. If I have to lift weights, maybe the beginning of the session, I will always have a protein shake with me. You know, some kind of hemp-based or rice or pea, whatever protein, plant-based protein with me. And that's according to what I'm exerting as far as energy, I will just sip on it. So some mornings I might sip half before my weightlifting session. Some mornings, if I'm doing just yoga, because I do hot yoga some mornings, I do not feel the need of anything, you know. Even my coffee, I tend to try to use coffee as a particular, you know, use it as far as like a particular timing, so it's more efficient. And I'm not just like drinking coffee and then trying to go to take a nap or sleep. So just try to make sense.
I can actually sleep on coffee, which is crazy.
You can? Oh my God.
It's nuts. I can actually drink a cup of coffee and then go right to bed and have a nap if I want to. It's freaked people out with, like, how do you do that? I just don't. I have like a weird immunity to caffeine. It's strange.
All right. Well, I'm actually very sensitive, so just a little gets me very high energy. Most people already have high energy without anything, so they always ask me what drugs I'm taking. I say, you know, not worse than your coffee, because that's what everyone's taking.
Yeah, I'm a hyperactive person, so I've gotten that before, that I don't need drugs or alcohol to be crazy if I'm at a party or something. So, but I totally get that. So how do your meals look each day, like throughout the day?
So my meals, usually I like to have, it's very easy. Now, pretty much since you got me started on tofu. I have tofu pretty much all the time, but there's different type of tofu. I personally love tempeh.
Okay.
My gut loves it. I think it's just, I digest it very well. I can, for example, I feel the difference when I eat tofu and tempeh. Tofu seems to make me feel fuller longer because it seems that I'm taking more time to break it down. As far as tempeh, I can, like, if I need to train and I only have 1 hour to digest, I'd rather have tempeh than tofu because I know I'll be lighter before training.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's usually like everything that's sprouted, that's fermented, because I have, from when I was younger, always had like issues with digestion. So my digestion has always been something that needs to be taking into account. Like, it's not the most efficient. Like, some people will eat something and they say like, oh, I'm hungry after an hour, and I will be still digesting, so I'm like still full.
That could be the case because tempeh is fermented, so yeah, that could be
Yes.
a good point. Yeah.
Yes. So that's something I feel as far TVP. Oh my God. TVP is like my best friend. So I can do sometimes, like, instead of doing, because oatmeal, for example, I digest very slow. So it might make me feel sleepy if I eat too much of it at the same meal. So I will do one portion of TVP and one portion of oatmeal or oat bran or whatever kind of oat. And that works much better for me.
Okay.
And then I can add a banana, I can add blueberries, and still, if I want extra protein, I add a little protein on top of it to make it like sweeter. It just depends. With the TVP, I also make, pasta with it. I will do like chickpeas pasta with the TVP as, like, kind of like a sauce, and add any kind of vegetable. So usually I try to have one source of protein, one source of vegetable, and I'm not always doing starchy vegetables just because I'm very lazy about cooking them. I love them, but please, if you cook them for me, I will love them more.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a lazy chef in the kitchen too. Like, I just make simple tofu and veggie meals as much as possible with like some fruit on the side is usually what I do. So yeah.
When I'm actually, you have to try this. Scrambled tofu with frozen blueberries and cinnamon.
That sounds interesting. I mean, I usually do savory, but yeah, a sweet tofu dish. I mean, it can be done, yeah, because tofu can be used even in like vegan cream and vegan like cheesecakes and cream cheeses too. Like the Tofutti brand uses a soy base, I believe. So yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
I do a lot. So I pretty much use my TVP and my tofu, sweet or salty. The only thing I don't do is the sweet tempeh, but who knows? I might go crazy one day and try it.
That might be weird because tempeh. I don't know. I mean, I guess it can be done too. But tempeh's texture, it might be strange. Do you count your calories and your macros, or do you kind of just try to just add protein and everything? Do you have a set plan?
No. I'm a nerd. Like, I'm not science based, but I'm very math based. So I really like to make sure that I have at least 20 grams of protein at every meal.
Okay.
Minimum. It's a minimum for me. Okay. Carbs, I will say that I've seen a lot of results when I incorporate my carbs around my workouts, especially something I used to not do or not pay attention after. That spike of insulin has definitely helped me grow my muscle because I can see the difference when I do and when I don't.
Okay, that makes sense. And what other supplements do you take? I mean, on top of like the protein powders you used, and obviously some sort of a carb supplement, I'm guessing, for the spike of insulin. What else do you take?
I do take some glutamine sometimes. What do I take? Sometimes some BCA. I'm not as consistent, I would say, with the supplements that are not from nutrition, except vitamin D and vitamin K.
And B12, I would imagine too. B12 probably.
And B12 also. But you know, I take a lot of nutritional yeast pretty much on all my meals. I powder that shit everywhere. I'm like, except on the sweet stuff, but I pretty much put I buy it in bulk, and I just sprinkle 1 tablespoon on all my meals. And I do also chlorella, spirulina. So I see, and I think that makes a difference overall because my days are very long.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty much usually around 4 or 5 a.m. and till 9, 10, sometimes 11 p.m. And when you're physical a couple of hours per day, my food is my fuel. I do not, it's like I spend my money on my nutrition, that's for sure.
I'm with you in that. I totally do the same thing. I spend so much money on food. And I try to emphasize to people that food is more important than supplements. I mean, supplements can help supplement things, but you have got to get that diet and you've got to get that training down first. And then think about things maybe like adding, creatine or something in there if you want to. Mm-hmm. Except for things like D3 and B12, those can be definitely beneficial for a vegan, especially because of what can be missing from the nutrition.
Yes.
So moving along, what would you say are the top 5, let's limit to 5, pieces of advice that you could offer someone that you feel are elements that you found essential in your own success with nutrition and fitness and all of that?
All right. 5 advice. Well, first of all, I think if you want results in terms of bodybuilding, but I'm talking not just results as a newbie, because see, I've always worked out. I've always been active. But you can be healthy, fit, active, and still not have the body you want because your nutrition is not on point.
Exactly. That's so true. People could be spinning their wheels in the gym, and without that nutrition in check,
Guilty. I've done it many years. I know, and I was wondering why I was not getting the results. So I think one of the first thing you have to be serious about tracking and getting educated. As far as like how your body works. All this, the ATP, the glycogen. Like I keep on still, listening, reading, taking notes. Try it out for myself, because at the end of the day, you still have to try it and see how you react. And don't take anyone's advice like, that's the whole truth and the only truth out there. And, be open-minded as far as, what you can achieve. Mindset is... I think it's mindset, it's the routine, and the nutrition. They all go, the 3 together. You need those 3 to really put it all together. Because I will tell you, sometimes I even feel like if I have any doubt in my self-confidence, I almost feel like, oh, my abs are not as strong today. Not joking. I am not joking. Sometimes, and I think it's just probably because of the way I breathe or the way I will hold myself. It's different. It's just, it's almost like I feel one reflects the other. Yeah. And it just works all together.
I don't think people realize how powerful the mind is. I guess one way to relate it is that people have had a shitty day, it can affect their training. They might have all the best intentions to get a good workout, but if you're depressed or you're under stress, it will certainly affect your ability, your output in the gym, and your ability to sleep and your ability to recover everything. So the mind is such an important factor. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to talk about looking at his biceps as if they're mountains when he was training them to make them grow. So there's that mind element that's so important.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know the part where he was saying that he was wearing shorts so he could see how small his calves were, and he wanted to make them grow.
Yes, they were one of his weakest body parts, and Arnold would actually train and put his calves on spotlight so he felt people and himself would notice his flaws and make him want to want to improve them, would force him to improve them. That's something he did. He put himself in the spotlight for that. He put that pressure on himself, and you wouldn't know by looking at his physique on the Olympian stage that he was had weak calves. I mean.
But I will tend to do that also. Like, for example, I wanted always to have like better abs, and I will just, stay in sports bra and like say, well, that's what you have, so that's what it is. So if you want it different, you got to focus on it, you got to work on it. And, it's almost like, kind of like accept where you're at this moment in time, and really commit to where you want to go. But you can't just kind of like say like stay in that zone where you don't want to see what is, say like, okay, I have that much body fat that I want to lose, and or just staying like in the illusion that, oh yeah, I look like I used to 20 years ago. You can't have illusions about where you are now if you want to go and reach your goal.
I totally agree. Well, I don't actually have any more questions on this at all. Is there anything you'd want to add, or maybe anything you want to say to the female vegans that are out there to inspire them into a fit and healthy lifestyle, perhaps?
Well, first I would really want them to try eating more soy, because I personally felt a lot of extra energy from it. And I think it just comes also from the extra protein overall. And, kind of, and that, I think it's not just the female, it's just kind of get curious about trying new recipes and not, getting stuck in your routine. I always try to tell my girlfriends, to stop trying to get results and just like go about their day and have no clue what they're going to eat. They know what they're going to be training and doing, but they have no clue how they're going to fuel themselves. I say, how can you plan one but not the other?
And I think that's a mistake.
That is one of the biggest mistakes, because sometimes, like this morning, one girl came to the gym with me and she had not eaten, and I was like, you can't do what you did yesterday, and yesterday you rocked this. What did you do today that's different? And she said, oh, well, I skipped breakfast. And I was like, how am I supposed to train you the same way and get you hyped up if you have no fuel? I said, it's like, I have an empty car right now in front of me. When am I going to push it?
Exactly. People don't seem to understand that, and I call it the Holy Trinity, actually, is what I refer to. It's like the Holy Trinity, in my opinion. There's like training, there's nutrition, there's sleep or rest. And those three things have to be in check and have to be minded equally, if not more importance on some than the others, if you're going to get results. And I think that it's not just your clients or friends, for instance, but I'll see people who will spin their wheels in the gym or on treadmills, and they'll look exactly the same 2, 3, 4, 5 years later. And I think to myself, obviously you're doing something wrong at home. I mean, you're here in the gym putting the time, but there's something you're doing wrong at home that you're not seeing any results, not even a centimeter of change,
Yeah. I think that's one of the things. I am more like, if I, end my day, I will be more anal about planning my food the next day than my training, because my training is almost like I just show up, even if I was not that knowledgeable in the gym. Okay, you go to a class. All those people that go and take classes, but I think you just go randomly and then just show up and hope for the best. If you want results, don't hope for the best. You're gonna have to get the best yourself and plan for what you're going after.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's true. That's true. You gotta give it your all. You really do. Well, I actually don't, like I said, have any more questions. And is there anything you want to toss out there before we part?
Well, just for the girls, I think that's I don't see some mornings. I'm pretty much the only female by the weight rack, especially the heavy weights. Yeah. It's just, if you really want. And I tell my girlfriend, I say, some like recently they've been seeing like drastic results, and they don't really know what I'm doing with them. That's so different. I say, Yeah, because I've been pushing you to do your heaviest.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking you to do a lot of reps. I say just try to hold this 60 pounds, this 80 pounds, how it feels. So your body is ready to kind of like go under this pressure and this tension. We
Yeah.
have to lift heavy, even as women.
Yep,
We
and
do.
that's a key. Women, ladies, do not fear the weights, and don't think that it's going to make you into a man. I keep trying to talk about this a lot, and a lot of the masculinizing effects that women seem to perceive from weight training, when they point them out to me, I notice that it's obviously steroids. That's not from lifting weights. That's from lifting weights and steroids. So,
Yeah, that's very obvious. And if but I'm getting calluses, just buy gloves. And you know what's funny is that once they try it, and I think women maybe are sometimes more competitive than men in some ways. They actually get empowered. They get hooked on that feeling maybe much more than guys. I'm seeing it in a different way because they're like, oh, she can do this. Like sometimes I go and I reach out for 100-pound dumbbell, and they're like, I want to be able to do that. It's kind of like they feel empowered, they feel better about themselves, they feel more independent, they hold their body different. And yeah, I mean, honestly, if they think they're going to bulk up, I've been lifting heavy and for a long time, and I'm still waiting for those muscles to pop like crazy. It takes time, and it takes nutrition, and it takes planning, and it's much more complicated than just, of course, if I were on job.
It really is. Yeah, something happened with the connection that was a little weird. But yeah, it totally is. And, I don't think anyone should be fearing the weights, and ladies shouldn't fear the weights. And it does, like you were saying, it does change how your posture physically, yes, but it also changes your confidence. The results build your confidence even more. I feel like it improves your life all over. I mean, in your confidence, the way people react to you, the way people treat you and talk to you, the way you treat and talk about yourself, and the way you engage others and carry yourself, I think it just does worlds for people. It also teaches you discipline and organization. It's so much more than just looking good and being healthy. It has a broader reach than that.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's why I'm still very hopeful. Because, for example, my new environment with all the kickboxers and everything, they are all amazed by how organized I am, how my food tastes like. They're like, oh, tofu. I brought some TVP, and they were like, hell, I'm not touching this. And at some point, we ran out of food, and I had brought a big salad with endives, tomatoes, and TVP, and made it taste like almost like taco salad without the taco shell.
Yeah.
They were like, I can't believe it's vegan. I can't believe this. And they kept on eating. And I loved it. Because you know what? We have the responsibility to be those role models, to show that this is possible, that you can be fit, you can be healthy, you can be strong, and you can be compassionate and, have, compassion for the world and the animals and just the planet itself.
Exactly, and you can still enjoy tasty food, which is what shocks a lot of people.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, because of course, everybody wants to. But you understand, my food is so important.
Yeah. It's important to me too. I was a former fat kid, so look, it was important to me as well. Like, food is a big thing, and there's so many tasty vegan options, and there's so many vegan alternatives to non-vegan foods. Even weird shit like cheesecake. There is vegan cheesecake that you would not know. Like, for instance, the Daya brand that people would not know isn't, that is actually vegan and isn't actually made from dairy products. Wow, so it's crazy how good things have become. In just the last 5 years, even just the last couple of years, things have exploded so much. So
I had pizza last week for the first time in a couple of years, vegan pizza, obviously, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some of the things that, because I go sometimes, and people around me are not all vegans, but they will try, so they will come with me. And they're amazed by the food options. They are amazed. So I think we just gotta, focus on all the positive and benefits that we are getting, and just keep on reflecting this and just inspire people. We just gotta do us, and that's just gonna spread like wildfire.
I totally agree. And just want to thank you for taking this about this hour now. It's almost been an hour to speak with me, Audrey. It's been very informative, and hopefully very informative for others as well, and hopefully inspirational too. That's what I was really hoping to achieve with this. And people, don't forget to check out her channel. And I don't know, that I have nothing else to say here, but thank you for joining me for this chat.
Thank you, Cory.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
And there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you found it informative and inspiring. If you did, spread the love by sharing this video and giving it a like. And do check out Audrey's channel, which is linked below. Also, hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss an update on this channel. And don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have a specific question that you'd like me to answer, I do ask that you please drop your comment over at my blog at strongerfastervegan.com and under the appropriate blog entry, which I will also link below for your convenience. And if you're interested in transforming your body like my client Jay did, then check out my nutrition and training service specifically for vegans, complete with a members forum. You can find it by heading over to veganmuscleacademy.com/join-now. And with that, I will catch you all later.